has volunteered to speak on behalf of the development partners. Ambassador Cadet.
Thank you so much, Mark, and I hope you have a new quote for us after my speech. It is very interesting to hear about Google and H.G. Wells, what they said. Thank you. So, Honorable Penelope Beckles, Minister of Planning and Development, friends from the Trinidad and Tobago Central Statistical Office, Your Excellencies and colleagues from the Diplomatic Corps, members of the press, and all our development partners, all protocols observed, a very good afternoon to you all. And what a beautiful and sustainable day is today, because this morning the Honorable Minister of Planning and I, and also the German Ambassador, we were at the sod-turning event for the construction of a solar park at PAHO International Airport, funded by the European Union in partnership with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. This solar park will contribute to the reduction of the airport's carbon footprint. And now this afternoon, it is an absolute pleasure to be invited to deliver the feature address for being the largest contributor for the Joint SDG Fund present, which is financing the project we are launching tonight. The Kingdom of the Netherlands is a strong supporter of the UN development system reforms and the ambitions of the Joint SDG Fund. We very much support UN coordination and UN agencies working together. We believe this can lead to sustainable change in country, and the Netherlands encourages UN agencies to actively think, plan, implement, and evaluate together. The project we are launching this afternoon is a great example of this interagency coordination. It will be implemented by a team of UN agencies: the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, the International Labour Organization, the UN Environment Programme, and the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, with coordination support from the UN Resident Coordinator's Office in Port of Spain. We certainly appreciate that donors are also being actively engaged. Which brings me to the content of tonight's project launch, starting with a little Dutch background. The Dutch Central Bureau of Statistics, Statistics Netherlands, is a long-standing member of the UN Steering Group on the SDG statistics. In this role, Statistics Netherlands was closely involved in developing the first and especially the second edition of the roadmap for SDG statistics, which is used by many nations worldwide in developing their own SDG statistical and coordination roles. Statistics Netherlands has a long tradition of supporting other countries develop and establish reliable and impartial statistics by providing technical assistance to a wide range of countries worldwide. This is done through offering technical assistance and training abroad, by receiving delegations at its own offices to provide training and workshops, but also to exchange expertise and best practices in formal meetings and in conferences of international organizations such as the EU, OECD, UN, World Bank, ISI, and many other more statistically oriented organizations. Statistics Netherlands is also widely shared its expertise in developing timely and relevant indicators to monitor the COVID crisis, which is obviously very relevant in terms of the SDGs. It's playing a key role in developing the Green Deal indicators for the European Commission, which also touches on many SDGs. And closer to home, here in the Caribbean, Kingdom of the Netherlands now looking at how best to measure well-being and the SDGs in the Dutch Caribbean islands of Bonaire, Sint Eustatius and Saba, in close cooperation with the Statistical Netherlands office on Bonaire. From closer to home to actually at home this evening, Joint SDG Fund project Modernising Trinidad and Tobago Statistical Ecosystem through Enhanced SDG Data Development. It's an incredible initiative, and the aim is to modernize and to expand and strengthen the national statistical system by improving the collection and the use of data on all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, like Mr. Zulu explained just now. Soon the system will be able to deliver quality, user-oriented and timely statistics on the economy, social needs and the environment. This is critical to make effective, evidence-based decisions and to monitor achievement of program and policy objective. And I can say that the Kingdom of the Netherlands is proud to be part of these important developments. I wish all the partners, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and the different implementing agencies a great amount of success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Kebed. I will now give you my third quote for the evening. I think everybody is enjoying him. The playwright George Bernard Shaw, he said, "It is the mark of a truly intelligent person to be moved by statistics." And with that, I will now invite the Honourable Minister, Penelope Beckles, the Minister of Planning and Development of the Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to give her keynote address. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mark. And of course, let me specially recognize Your Excellency Raphael Varga van Kebed, Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Trinidad and Tobago. Let me acknowledge, of course, my two acting Deputy Permanent Secretaries who are here, Marie Hines and Mira Ramsamir, and other members of staff of the Ministry of Planning and Development, with special recognition today because of the activity that we involved in, to Mr. Andre Blanchard, Director of Statistics, and staff of the Central Statistical Office, excellencies, representatives of NGOs, community-based and civil society organizations, and of course, members of the media. Special good evening. Welcome to this red letter day in the history, or please allow me to correct myself and say the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Words betray the level of elation and pride I feel at being given this opportunity to share my thoughts with you all regarding this milestone in the modernization of Trinidad and Tobago's statistical ecosystem through Enhanced Sustainable Development Goals, SDG Data Development. Before I say anything further, I would like to place on record my high commendations to a number of organizations for not only getting us to this point, but ensuring that by the end of this project, we will have delivered what we are committing to this evening. This 24-month project will be implemented by a team, as indicated by His Excellency, of United Nations agencies, inclusive of PAHO, Noctuila, World Health Organization, the ILO, International Labour Organization, the United Nations Environment Programme, and the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. Coordinating support will be provided from the United Nations Resident Coordinator's Office in Port of Spain, along with a coalition of development partners, including such national authorities, of course, as my own Ministry of Planning and Development, the Central Statistical Office, and the Tobago House of Assembly. Non-governmental organizations, private sector companies, international financial institutions, and academia also deserve recognition for your invaluable roles. Time will not permit me, of course, to name everyone individually, but without you, rollout and implementation of this precious game-changing project would be impossible. Congratulations at this stage are due to all involved. You have my full support and the full support, of course, of the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in your undertaking of this endeavor. The maxim, what gets measured, gets done, is definitely no cliche when we speak of national development. In 2020, I presented the Trinidad and Tobago's Voluntary National Review Report to the United Nations regarding our progress in attaining the Global Sustainable Development Goals. While we were able to present statistics to show our progress in areas such as infant mortality, gender balance in the workplace, poverty eradication, quality education, and more, we had to admit that to make further progress in these and any other areas, there was more we needed to do to improve the reliability, accessibility, and timeliness of disaggregated data and make this the cornerstone of our thrust to sustainable development. Trinidad and Tobago's National Development Strategy Vision 2030 emphasizes the need for a comprehensive, coordinated national statistical system delivering quality, user-oriented, and timely statistics on Trinidad and Tobago's economy, social needs, and of course, natural environment. The $721,000 US allocation for this project by the Joint SDG Fund of the United Nations cannot and will not go to waste. This evening, I reaffirmed to you my commitment to seeing the strengthening of Trinidad and Tobago's national statistical system by improving the collection and use of data on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals all the way through. We all can agree that effective decision and policy making rely on a robust national statistical system. Likewise, our lives and the lives of our citizens also depend on the capacity of statistics to inform world-class service delivery, leaving no one behind. Through this project, we will enhance the availability of disaggregated data for more SDG indicators with the aim of added SDG-related policy making, programming, and resourcing, as well as the identification, monitoring, and rendering of more targeted assistance to those at risk, including women and girls who have been identified as insufficiently considered in the collection of national statistics. As we speak, the Central Statistical Office today completed field testing and training for officers who from the 1st of August until the end of November will be collecting data from households as part of Trinidad and Tobago's multiple indicator cluster survey. This will be one of the most wide-ranging sources of data on the status of our citizens, again with women and children at the forefront. We thank UNICEF for their continuous support in this regard. This is also a testament to the grit and determination of the team at the Central Statistical Office, which, even in the face of occasional public trepidation, does not give up on its mandate. I laud Mr. Andre Blanchard, the Acting Director of Statistics, and the CSO team. With the dedication you will all demonstrate, I have the utmost confidence in your ability to take the next step with this project. What is also inspiring is that modernizing our statistical ecosystem through the development of technological and professional capacities will help to further accelerate the adoption of international statistical standards, of which I am so proud to say the CSO has been undeterred in its pursuit. Also, from an economic perspective, Trinidad and Tobago will benefit from the formulation of investment plans focused on national institutions and the broader statistical ecosystem. This means that the private sector also is a primary stakeholder in this process. In order to build globally competitive businesses, leverage cutting-edge technology to develop products, expand our capacity, and make investment decisions, data, as we know, is absolutely necessary. Therefore, your support and participation in this project will definitely be to your advantage. The successful implementation of this modernization drive will result in several more benefits to Trinidad and Tobago, including strengthening networks and partnerships across public and private sectors to foster better collaboration and data collection and sharing. This reinforces, of course, Goal 17, Sustainable Development Goal 17, which is Partnership for Goals. Revitalizing national legislation on statistics to promote best practices, consolidating Trinidad and Tobago's position as a regional center of excellence for big data, raising the profile of statistics in Trinidad and Tobago, and promoting the value of statistics to national development. Another element of this evening's exercise is a donation of IT equipment to the Central Statistical Office through the Joint project. This equipment, of course, is vital to the work of the continuous sample survey of the population section of the CSO, which is charged with the responsibility of collecting and analyzing and disseminating national labor statistics. To further enhance the labor statistics produced, the CSSP section is currently in the process of redesigning the sample frame, questionnaire, and methodology for its labor force survey. Success in this undertaking is contingent not only on the revision of the sample frame and questionnaire, but also on modernized and digitalized hardware equipment specifically aimed at performing enhanced field operations by transitioning from a paper-based system to a computer-aided personal interviewing system called CAPI. Our undying gratitude is hereby extended to the International Labour Organization for making available 75 Samsung tablets, inclusive of protective cases, and 10 Lenovo ThinkPad laptops with bags, a total value of $284,240 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Having shared my thoughts with you, I re-emphasize that the process of modernizing Trinidad and Tobago's statistical ecosystem through enhanced SDG data development is not just for this period in time or for our current generations, but also for our future generations. This especially as we march towards the year 2030 alongside the rest of the world. Once we get it right, we will leave a legacy that heralds future prosperity, as well as providing a foundation that can be built upon the next millennium of national, regional, and global goals. Again, what is measured gets done. And through this project, we will meet the objectives of our National Development Trust, Vision 2030, which we have integrated into the Global Sustainable Development Goals. As I started, you may or may not have a clue how really very special this evening is for me, Excellencies. As someone who has served at the United Nations, it's always very difficult when you listen to presentations, especially relating to the Sustainable Development Goals, and you don't have the data, especially accurate data. And knowing that we have just 8 years before we get to 2030, this project is extremely timely. So again, Excellency, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The fourth quote for the evening. It comes from a fictional character, Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes, in one of the novels by Arthur Conan Doyle, says, "It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts." We're at the point in the evening the Honourable Minister had mentioned that the project has already begun and has already procured some equipment for the Central Statistical Office to enhance their digitalization efforts. That equipment was alluded to in RC Zulu's speech, which was the $43,000 US that you were used to procure 85 digital devices for the Central Statistical Office. Of course, we cannot hand over 85 devices here this evening, so we're going to ceremonially hand over a few. We're going to use it as a photo opportunity. So I'll invite people up to the stage gradually so that we don't start with a crowd and eventually we get to like where everybody's on stage. So I would like to invite the Honorable Minister and Mr. Blanchard, the Director of Central Statistical Office, and also Mr. Zulu, the Resident Coordinator, and Ambassador Kibet, the Dutch Ambassador. So if the Honorable Minister and Mr. Blanchard can stand to one side, and then Mr. Zulu and Ambassador Kibet to one side, we can have RC Zulu hand over some of the equipment ceremonially to the Minister. Can you come to the more to the center so they want to look at this? Is that fine? Sorry, don't leave yet. We're just going to take a group photograph now without the equipment. So I'll invite other members of the Ministry of Planning and the other members of the Diplomatic Corps and other UN representatives to now join us on stage. So Erica Wheeler, Abdullahi, Ambassador Koenig, Ambassador O, Deputy PSs, if you can plan, and Honorary Consul Dolsing, right?
Particular place.
Yes, so if the government side. Thank you for that imposition. I apologize. I'll save my last quote for when I'm telling you goodbye. Right? But it's important that we have such opportunities to celebrate our collective efforts and to stand together and to be recognized, which brings me to, of course, the vote of thanks, because this project would not be possible without all the efforts of the people you saw on stage here this evening. Right? So it was very important to recognize their contributions. So I really wanted to thank the contributors, the donor countries, the development partners who contributed to the Joint SDG Fund. Without your contributions, without your government's generosity, we're living in times when governments can spend monies on their own populations, and your governments were very generous to give those monies to the Joint SDG Fund, which made this project and 200 other projects around the world possible. So the UN, if I can speak on behalf of the UN, is very grateful for your generosity and for your country's generosity. I want to thank the Honorable Minister and her ministry, whose partnership, as R.C. Zulu mentioned, is invaluable to our office. As he said, the Ministry of Planning's fingerprints are all over almost all of the UN's accomplishments in this country. You all are valuable partners, and we would be lost without you. I want to extend thanks to Mr. Blanchard. He is a rock that we can always rely on and turn to for data. And I think, Anand, you can vouch for this, my colleague Anand in our office. I don't think Mr. Blanchard has ever said no to us. Anytime we approach him, the answer is automatically yes. And for that, we are eternally grateful. I want to thank the UN agencies that are implementing this project and who put it all together. As Mr. Zulu mentioned, it's very rare for Trinidad and Tobago to get grants from this fund because it's usually allocated to the least developed countries. That we got one is testament to as you mentioned, the brain power and hard work that went into this project. And for that, I especially want to thank Dr. Erica Wheeler, who led this process from day one, when it was just a blank sheet of paper, to the point where we're at now, where we're already implementing and buying equipment, training people, etc. Lastly, I'd like to thank R.C. Zulu, right, for his leadership. I think he was thrown in at the deep end because, of course, this project was initiated by former RC Marina Walter, who I think left just as the project was starting. And RC Zulu has taken that leadership mantle and run with it. And we are making really stellar progress with his chairmanship of this project. I want to thank everyone again in this. I want to thank the staff at PAHO WHO, Nandini, Renuka, staff in the RC office, Anika, Kival, Anand, surgeon who is absent this afternoon, for helping us make this project possible and make this evening possible. Oh, and Gail. How can I forget Gail? And she even has my surname, Gail Thomas from PAHO as well, Gail put together all the wonderful promotional items that you see here with Keegan. All right, so I want to thank them all. And they did it all in no time at all, because this project was sort of put together, this event was put together in no time. I want to thank everyone who attended this evening. I think it was a really lovely evening, and to show our appreciation, we have some refreshments for you. So I will now invite you to take your leave, but before you do, as promised, I'll quote Mark Twain. Right? Mark Twain said that data is like garbage. You better know what you're going to do with it before you collect it. And with that, I'll send you on your way. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you so much for your assistance to the UN and to this project. And we look forward to working hard on this project and celebrating its success in 18 months' time. Thank you very much. Good evening.